Henrique, Manuel, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. It's our third video from the Touchdown video series, where we aim to build a strong thought leadership based narrative around different aspects of moving to and living in Portugal. My name is Semyon and I'm the founder of Touchdown. It'd be great if you two could very briefly introduce yourselves.
My name is Henrique. I'm a legal consultant and the head of immigration at Touchdown. So I mostly deal with visas, residency permits, and more practical aspects of relocating to the country.
My name is Manuel. I'm a tax lawyer in Portugal. I've been working exclusively with expats, trying to figure out what the best solution for them is, really according to their own personal needs, both before they came to live in Portugal and also after they came to live here, to help them comply with all of their tax obligations.
Wicked. It's great to have both of you here today. Today we are going to be talking about taxation in Portugal, misconceptions, different tax regimes, ways of setting yourself up, and the general rules of the road. I feel like one of the big narratives that we've heard about Portugal is that Portugal is a tax haven. Could you shed some light on this statement and how true do you think it is?
Yeah, so it's funny because as we are Portuguese, it seems like a very bold statement, to say the least, because our taxes are actually quite high. They are in line with the rest of the European taxation because we have a progressive tax rate of up to 48%. However, Portugal has chosen for several years now, or around 15 years, to turn itself into a very attractive place for foreigners coming to live to Portugal and maybe help the Portuguese economy grow, and that's why it gained that reputation all around the world. So the original NHR regime, the non-habitual resident regime, it's almost for sure the best tax regime there is in first world countries. That's where the reputation comes from, and we still have the second NHR and a lot of other tax incentives that make sure that if you structure it right, which is our job to do for you, you'll get a very low taxation, a very efficient taxation.
I think it'd be very helpful to summarize the key benefits of the NHR regime for our viewers.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's focus on the second, on the existing NHR, and the benefits are 20% on working income, regardless of whether you are an employee or self-employed. This is for employment in the country, and an exemption on foreign earned income. So that goes for rentals that you have coming from abroad. It goes from dividends that you receive from companies that you have based abroad. It goes from capital gains. So if you sell some shares that you have as part of your savings that's going to be exempt in Portugal, or if you have your own company and based abroad and you decide to sell it, that's going to be exempt. So most of the income coming from abroad, even if you work just for 2 or 3 months abroad and you do the work from there, that income is going to be exempt in Portugal. So yeah, basically it's very powerful all around, no matter what your income source is.
So what are the moving parts and how do you structure yourself under the new NHR?
Right. So the most common way by far will be that you have the ability, you have the full flexibility to either be an employee, self-employed, or creating your own company. You have your clients already set up. So and you work in an area that's a qualified area. A very, very common way would be tech related jobs. So let's say that you are a tech consultant, a programmer, etc. Just as an example, there are a lot of other activities that will qualify you, but if you are a tech consultant, you are working for yourself, or maybe you're even an employee. You create your own company in Portugal. You become a manager of that company, or employed in any other way. You may employ other people or not. It can just be you, and then you provide services from that company in Portugal to your existing clients and to any others that you find. Other ways would include if you are a college professor and a researcher, if you find a job in an existing Portuguese company, if you found a Portuguese startup, if you work for a Portuguese startup. It's not too hard if you are in what is considered a highly qualified profession. It will definitely be possible for you to qualify one way or the other.
That's very comprehensive, Manuel. Thank you. I think one thing that is worth drilling down on is, okay, in practice, You come to Portugal, maybe you get a visa if you're from a non-EU country, you set up your company in Portugal, you conduct a highly qualified activity, great. You qualify for the NHR. What does that mean in practice tax-wise?
In most cases, you're gonna have a company that's going to be fiscally transparent, meaning that the company doesn't get taxed on its own sphere. You will get taxed on it on the profits of the company. You will be taxed at solely 20% because that's the advantage of the NHR.
So fixed, flat 20% tax on profits.
Exactly. So your company can have all sorts of expenses that are naturally related to its activity that will lower its tax base, and then you'll be taxed at 20% on that.
So everything you move through Portugal, 20%, everything abroad is 0, including cap gains, dividends, interest income, rental income. That's remarkable. I mean, that has to be probably one of the most lucrative and attractive tax regimes in the developed world. What are the general requirements for being considered a tax resident in Portugal?
You have to meet one of two requirements. You either spend more than half of the year here, so that 183 days in the country, or you have a house that it's your permanent residency, a place that makes it look like you wish to continue to live in Portugal.
Henrique, maybe you could comment a little bit about the difference between being a legal resident and being a tax resident, because I feel like folks often confuse immigration and taxes, and I really want us to stress that those are two completely separate things.
Exactly. So being a legal resident means that you have a valid residency permit in the country, while being a tax resident doesn't mean that you actually have a residency permit, but for some reason you became tax liable as a resident in the country through the ways that Manuel mentioned.
So one can happen without the other.